Feast your eyes on that. This hasn't been cut or anything yet, so it is, you know, dusty, obviously, but you get the idea. Hello everybody, my name is Brian and welcome to another episode of Double B's Garage. We are in the car right now because if you've seen the intro video or the little snippet, you know that the Supra has been painted. Now it's curing for another day. I think they painted it about 4 or 5 days ago and they're waiting for it to fully cure before they can, you know, buff and wheel and wet sand and color sand and all that stuff that they do to the clear coat once it's done. But I wanted to go take a peek at it today and see what it looks like. But first, I wanted to give you an update on the Audi and the suspension, as mentioned in the intro image. As you know, this girl's got a big rear end and weighs a little too much for the springs from H&R that are meant for the Avant. As you know, this is an Allroad, and I think it's around 800 pounds heavier, give or take 50 or 80,000 pounds. But the benefit is, or not the benefit, the problem is with the Avant springs, what happens is the ass end sags. And as you remember, I had the spring perches all the way up to the top and I was still having issues with rubbing, and I had to lower the front end to actually match the rear. I called H&R, they ended up working with a distributor and they sent me springs that were 20 millimeters taller. And if you look at my previous video, I mentioned that I had those springs and had not put them in yet. They had the exact same spring rate, they were just 20 millimeters higher. So hopefully old girl's big rear end here was gonna be taken care of by those springs. Now, flash forward to today. Springs are in. I actually kept the spring purchase a little lower, meaning I didn't thread the collars all the way up to the top at first, and I was still having some rubbing issues. So right now, the springs, the perches anyways, are back up all the way to the top, where the collar is threaded all the way to the top of the wheel, giving me my maximum height. The car is about a ½ inch, 10, 15 millimeters taller than it was before, which is great because all the rubbing is gone, unless I have, you know, 3 people in the car and I go over kind of a big bump on the road. That's the only time I would have any issues. The problem is I can't get it any higher, or I don't have any adjustability with it being lower. So these springs absolutely answered my frustration with the car being too low. The problem is now I'm at the top of the spring purchase again, and even though I love the ride height and everything is great, I don't have any ability to ever raise the car unless I were to put the factory springs back in, which obviously, you know, then it'd look like an old muscle car or something. So with that being said, I may look into H&R, and before I post this video, I'll see if they have another spring that maybe has the same spring rate but is another 20 millimeters taller or something like that, because then it would allow you to have the collar in the middle of the spring perch, and then you could go up or down if needed, kind of like you can in the front very easily. I did adjust the front to raise the height back up to match the rear, and now to me it's perfect. I think we were somewhere at 26 and a half or 26 3/4, and now we're at 27 front and rear, and I think factory was like 29 when I measured from the inside lower edge of the wheel well arch down to the pavement. So that's good. So that's kind of the update on the Audi. Now onto the Supra. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. While I'm talking to you, I'm going to be playing some videos. I've been there probably 3 or 4 times during the process, and this is a good friend of mine. He owns the business. They're the only certified body shop and paint shop for Porsche in the area, if that just kind of gives you an idea of the quality. People bring their Teslas to them that are brand new to help fit and finish, because we know Teslas come with you know, the doors and sometimes the fenders and things like that that don't really fit very well. But they do a lot of really high-end work. Bentleys, Mercedes, Lamborghinis, you know, all that stuff. So with that being said, I called him and just said, hey, I have a Supra, really like to get this thing painted. And he said, we're booking out till February, but drop her off today and we'll fit you in. So I really appreciate that. The company's name is Diamond Auto Bodies. They're local here to me in Fresno, and they do great work. It's family run. I think they're on their second generation now, a family that's owned it. So it does really well, and they do great work, and I respect them a lot. So I was shocked to find out when I texted them earlier today, and I asked, hey, do you mind when the car gets painted that I come and maybe film, you know, while it's either going into the paint booth or in the paint booth? And he said, bro, your car is painted. So here we are, we're on the way there. As I mentioned, I'm really excited to see what it looks like. It's going to be in a really raw form. I mean, I don't think it's going to be reassembled yet. We're talking fresh paint that's literally sitting there curing while we're waiting to get things ready to go. So I'm excited to see what you will be there soon with me. Hopefully I will get some decent gas mileage in this girl's big rear end on the way there. But otherwise the springs are doing their job, and I really like the stance. So on to the body shop we go. All right, she's been primed and then sanded again. First real prep into the getting this ready to go. It's looking really, really nice. They did a great job here. They said there was a little dent here before. Must have been repaired back in the 90s. But other than that, everything was super, super clean. So we're just making sure it's dialed in, but she's getting there. All right, here we are. Diamond Auto Body. Checking out the Supra. It's still curing, like I mentioned, so it's going to take a few days before they can polish it, but feast your eyes on that. This hasn't been cut or anything yet, so it is, you know, dusty, obviously, but you get the idea. I mean, this is in its raw form too. For paint to come out like this before it's cut or polished or anything is amazing. It looks great. Little dirty in there, but that happens. Here's the top that was painted too, inside. Then we got to see the wings. Yeah, it looks great. Let's see if we can see one of the painters. Where's Armin?
Okay.
Hey, you painted the Supra?
Fucked it up, so you fucked it.
How'd it go?
Really good.
On the spot, right?
On the spot.
So
I like that car, man.
Yeah, it was it had a couple issues, right? I mean, just dings and dents over the years and things like that, but but otherwise good shape.
Good shape.
Super
really
clean.
Shape, super clean.
Okay.
Really good shape.
How many coats of clear did you put on? Two. So typically it's 2 base, 2 clear, right?
Yep.
And that's what you do for Porsches or in any car?
On any car.
Okay.
Lambos, Ferraris, anything.
Okay. Yeah. So any issues with the car at all? I mean, obviously you got to cut and polish it yet because it's still curing. Okay. Well, awesome. Well, thank you very much. I called Art today and I said, hey, do you mind if I come by and take a look at the car maybe when it's being painted? And he's like, bro, it's painted. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll get over there right now. So I really appreciate it. No, where's the wing and all that stuff that was sprayed?
I think the bodyman has it over there.
Okay.
So after polish, he's gonna put everything together.
And then when do you think you'll cut and polish?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Okay. I think Art said a couple more days maybe to let it cure.
Let it cure more.
Sit in the sun and a little chilly out here. So, okay. Well, hey, I appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks again.
No problem.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it. Good outcome. Well, she looks great. Quick video on the car, seeing what it looks like. I can't wait for this thing to be polished and cut and put back together. But feast your eyes. And those wheels will be gone too. I have the factory wheels all redone. New rubber waiting to go on. Really appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode of WB's Garage. And I will have another one here soon, I promise you, once I get the car back. All right, bye-bye.